What is going on, All Terrain Nation? We are crazy live, Danny. We are live,
Yeah.
and we are. Hopefully, you guys like what you see so far. If you can't tell, we've made a few changes versus the old Nissan thing, but we Danny, this is your first one with me. You didn't get to do
It
last
is.
week.
It is. I'm here and I'm ready to party. I got a water in one hand and a mystery drink in the other. Let's do this thing.
Nice, man. Well, first off, guys, once again, most of you know us, but if you haven't yet, like and share these links to places that we don't know. We used to be Nissan guys, so me and Danny are both like, we were discussing before the show, where do we share this exactly?
Yeah, I know all of our Facebook groups are all like Nissan stuff, but you know what? We are really motorheads, Dave. We're motorheads. We're car guys. We're truck guys. I'd say mostly truck guys. But we appreciate all things automotive, but we tend to love truck stuff and off-road stuff. So it's great to be able to kind of step out and really, give our 2 cents and have a good time talking about some of the real. And there's so much cool stuff going on in the truck world right now. So I'm pumped to be able to just kind of share our love for all things off-road and fun and
I would agree.
All terrain.
Very, very all terrain, man. Guys, once again, we expect a lot of new people to this show. So our old crew, you're gonna hear a lot of the same old stuff from us. For one thing, let us know if everything sounds great, because as you can tell on the screen, I've worked hard today trying to make this a little different. And you know my history when I change things, what happens over on the Nissan side. So, Danny, I've got a new banner above my head here.
I know. I'm waiting for mine to show up so I can put her on. So I can put her right there,
somewhere that way. Mine's actually gonna change again, Danny. I thought mine's a little small. I talked to Lifestyle, and they were like, "Hey, we're gonna ship you something a little bigger."
Story of Dave's life, right there, right behind you.
It is the story of my life, man. But so be it. Who cares, man? We're talking all things trucks and SUVs now, Dan. I'm giddy. I love learning, and clearly me and you know the Nissan world. So I'm kind of excited to take on this new world of everything. The big three.
I know. I'm pumped about it. Shout out to Cordetti for following us over from our other show. Cordetti just bought a sweet new Ford truck. It looks like a really nice little setup. I'm stoked. He's got a couple of YouTube channels. Cordetti Motorsports, I believe it's Cordetti. Yeah.
Yes.
Cordetti Motorsports. He does a lot of really cool. He's a Canadian, so he's just super nice. But he does a lot of cool stuff. Shout out to him. He's doing all kinds of weird, crazy stuff, and I'm excited to see what he's got going on some of his channels. He's mixing some things up. Sold a Toyota, bought it's like a single cab short bed Super Duty Ford. So I'm excited to see what he's doing.
Well, I saw the pictures of that thing, and I was really pumped about it. I do love guys. Once again, you're gonna have to, our Nissan people, you'll have to understand, I'm a Nissan at heart, but I love everything, man. I've had F250 that, let's see, what is that, 89 I think it was, F250 that I loved. I beat the crap out of that poor old truck. And so for me and Danny, I'm super giddy, especially having you on here tonight. So last week you didn't get to be on. Like, I know the Sundays are hit or miss for you anymore, but man, I can't say how pumped I am to all things trucks. And if you guys look down below us, you look at that RAM, that TRX down there, man, and it's just some stock footage that Ram sent over. And dude, let's just get into it, Dan. I
shot across the bow.
Yes,
that's what that is, Dave.
Very much, dude. Like, Ford took a shot at Jeep, which is part of FCA.
That's what I was just gonna say. Yeah,
and Jeep was like, okay. Or I guess FCA was like, okay, let's just take a shot at your Raptor. And we'll get into the details in a minute, but styling, I think personally, I think they could have went a little more extreme with this truck, but it still looks like the 1500. So it needed to, but dude, this thing is a badass, man. Anything with a Hellcat in it has got to be wicked, right?
Exactly. I think that's where they put some of pardon my words, I think the money shot is the Hellcat motor. I think that's where they were like, you know what, Ford went to the twin turbo. we're going to stick with some V8 power. And their Hellcat is kind of like their signature. Well, it's Dodge's signature thing that they've been really promoting and showing off a bunch. And to hand it over to the Ram guys, it's really, you know, I mean, it's a beast of a motor. I mean, it's got for a production motor, it's ridiculous, you know, to have that much horsepower. The EcoBoost that's making about 450. The TRX is supposedly going to make 702. That's I don't want to say it's double, but like that's 300 almost 300 horsepower. That's like another engine comparatively speaking,
Right.
as far as horsepower. And you know, I look at crawl ratio gearing and rear end gearing and stuff like that, but if you have almost double the horsepower, you know, some of that gearing doesn't matter
Well,
as
yeah.
much.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, man. And this one's coming factory 35s, if I remember right. So and the Raptor doesn't do that. If I remember right, Raptor's still on 33s. They really did, and all these manufacturers now do this. Like with Bronco, the way Bronco kind of mirrored what Jeep did and took it to the next level. I really feel like this TRX is sort of did that for Ram. They baselined what the Raptor could do. And you know, I think Ford got a little arrogant with their EcoBoost engine. I think they thought, well, people are going to buy this truck, so we're going to put this twin turbo V6 in it, and they'll just have to love it, because who's gonna compete with us? And I've said this. Me and you've had this debate for a long time. V8 or V6? I'm always the bigger engine. I just think it's truly what the American buyer likes. They want, you say V8. Guys that don't know cars know what a V8 is.
Well, and I agree, Dave. I think when you're in the market for a ridiculous, it's almost like supercar mindset. You know, high end truck. You're gonna, if you're buying one of these, you have money, or
Yeah.
you know, and if you're buying one of these new, you have some money, and so if you have money, you're gonna be able to afford the gas, and so, you know, a twin turbo V6, yeah, it's peppy, it's cool, it's probably pretty fast, but I know I've talked to a few Raptor guys that were like, I kind of wish they stuck with a big V8 big torquey V8 motor, where all that torque is, you know, a little bit more bottom end stuff and whatnot. But I mean, you're not worried about gas mileage, you're worried about just
Fun mileage.
beefcake motor. Yeah, let's get some like you're buying the truck because it needs to be like ridiculous. You know, you want a ridiculous truck, and half these guys even mod the Raptor. They put Kings on them, they put a little bit, you know,
Yeah.
and on top of that, so you're already in that segment of let's just do some ridiculous stuff, so you might as well put in a ridiculous motor, you know.
Right.
And so I think Ford kind of, it's almost like they pulled back a smidge. So
Well, Danny,
I think the TRX is going to make waves for sure.
Oh, definitely. So let's look at the numbers. So 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds. Danny,
That's crazy, dude.
I know the new Corvette was a lot faster than that. What, 2.9 or something like that, 3.2. But this is a big, heavy truck doing it, man.
It's huge. It's a huge truck. For reference, I was just doing 0 to 60 pulls in my freshly tuned Frontier on 33s, and I was in the 7.8, 7.9, which is pretty quick for a nice little V6 freaking scoot around, you know. Like,
right?
That's some good old, you know, numbers for a little mini truck that's got a little bit of power or whatever. But 4.5 seconds, man, that is so freaking fast, and that torque really makes a huge difference. F-150 torque 510, you know, 650 torque for the TRX. Those are big, and that's peak torque at 4,800 RPMs for the TRX. I will say that the peak torque for the F1 or the Raptor is at 3,500 RPM, so that does get a little bit of peak torque earlier,
Right.
but it's not as much. So I haven't looked at the torque curve for the two motor. I don't even know if they've published it, but it may be the similar torque curve. But
so dude,
still,
where are you at with? So one is a twin turbo and one is a supercharger. Which would you rather have?
for this kind of application, you know what? It's really hard to say. I mean, the Raptor has some real, and I haven't looked, well, I haven't found anything really amazing as far as the suspension is concerned for the TRX, as Ram is calling it, the the T-Rex.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of like their nickname for it.
Right.
So there's the Raptor and the T-Rex. It's kind of like the play on words. They're battling. They have the Jurassic Park battle going on right now.
Right.
But it'll be very interesting to see what kind of travel numbers and how suspension is set up on this thing. So it'll be interesting. But I kind of lost track of your entire question.
Supercharger versus turbos.
Oh yeah. So the supercharger, usually you get a little bit a quicker response from the supercharger. So I don't know.
Yeah, I guess which line do you like? Do you like the turbo spool or do you like the supercharger spool?
I think the snails make pretty fun sounds, but the problem is if the snails make fun sounds, I you know what? On my last trip, I went on a little off-road trip last week, and there was a Raptor, and he was coming. He was driving up the hill. It didn't have the V8 rumble.
Right.
It had that V6 supercharged sound. And
you mean the twin turbo sound?
I'm sorry, the twin turbo sound, and it didn't have that low ridiculous grumble. And I'm not gonna lie that like that's a guttural thing that you kind of want, that deep throaty. I was even doing burnouts with my buddy who's got a Ram Rebel,
right?
Who's got the Hemi in it, and that thing just grumbles, like down at the deep portions of the of the RPM range. And there's something to be said, and it's just sound, but at the same time, it's a guttural feel to a truck. And it's, if you're buying a truck for fun, because that's why you buy one of these, you're buying it for fun, and all the other stuff is because it's good for that other stuff too.
I
if you're buying it for just for working and or hauling or towing, or because it's something that's helpful, you buy a regular one. But if you're buying a Ram TRX or a Raptor, you're buying it for fun, and you could use it for all the other stuff. So if you're gonna buy it for fun, do you need the rumble in your loins?
I think the American buyer does need the rumble, because now there's it's to me, it's like this, since we're import dudes. It's like the American versus maybe like the Italian. Like, you hear the V8 of a Corvette, you know, and you cam it up and you know exactly what that thing sounds like. You get that rum, bum, bum, bum. You hear the finesse of a Lamborghini, and it's just two different things, even though they might equally make the same horsepower, but it's just, it's just completely different.
Yeah. And what Expedition Outfitters said, have you seen the footage of the new 2021 Raptor with a GT500 V8 over 700 horsepower? Maybe that's Ford's response. Maybe they're going to have some of that going on, which would be really cool. It's exciting to see these two, they're turning into like the prominent battlers, where it was a Chevy Ford thing, on this aspect of this high-end sport truck, we'll call it, high-end Ford, or high-end off-road sport truck. Right. It's kind of niche, but maybe this is where a battle happens again. Maybe we'll see some of this stuff really start pouring into a class-specific race series, where it's a stock truck type thing.
Well, NASCAR had the truck series, and I mean, obviously these are four-wheel drives, but it does kind of make you think, well, they could take a Raptor and make it a race truck, make it look like, a stock truck sort of. And now you've got this kind of wide body looking, whatever you want to call it. And I don't know, dude. I think there's some win there, and I think the real loser right now is Chevrolet, because last I heard they haven't developed anything. Now, there was a company, I know you were talking before the show, there was a company that toyed with the idea. What'd they call that turd?
Jeez, I had it up. It was like I don't even remember anymore. But what I've seen recently that's a little bit more legitimate is the ZR. There was a Colorado ZR2 Bison. That was the Colorado, but then there was a talk of the ZRX, which was the Silverado version, and they were talking about putting the 6.2 liter the Chevy motor in that. That puts out about in the Corvette and the Camaro, it puts about 420 horsepower out. There's the ZL1, the ZL1 motor, which puts out 755. So if they were to come out with a big Chevy powerhouse, they'd have to put the big the ZL1 motor and the ZL1 Camaro motor in it. So that would be their fighter if they were to go with a big gnarly thing like that.
Would you feel like Chevy's kind of missing the boat here because once again now Ram, I wanted to say Dodge, geez, Ram announced this thing in like 2017 that they were going to build this, and it's taken quite a while. I feel like anymore it's taking too long to get some of these things out to market. But
I think what Ram did is they came out with their Rebel, which was kind of like an in-between type thing. The Ram Rebel was a pretty decent, and that's what I was cruising around with today with my buddy. We were doing some burnouts. Let me make a serious note. I'm going to be dropping a video in my YouTube channel tomorrow.
Always be selling, Danny. Always be closing.
The Ram Rebel could not do a really good burnout. I was doing some massive burnouts in my truck. The Ram Rebel, there was too many computers. He couldn't do a little. He could get it going, but then all of a sudden, all the babysitting computers kicked him out, and it just would not do a fat just standing burnout.
Right.
Well, you know that's
Chevy was having the same problems with the Corvette though. Like the new Corvette,
still a thing. They won't do burnouts. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, and they found out that some of it was the transmission needed to be topped off with fluids a little better, but yeah, it goes right into limp mode. And you buy these big expensive vehicles to kind of rip on them a little bit. Nobody buys a Corvette just to, well, I'm sure there's some people that just buy them to, just to put in their garage, but especially trucks, these things are built specifically for your area, Dan. They want to go fast out on the flats or in the sand, and they want to go have fun.
Well, in truth, a full-size truck isn't really built in any way for most like mountain trails. Most mountain trails, you need something that's a little skinnier, a little bit smaller, a little bit shorter wheelbase. So we'll say out west. Yes, Dave. Out west is probably the prime ideal area, where it's a lot more open, flatter. And again, like you're saying, a lot of these guys might be, driving their truck and towing something out to a race and then cruising around in the dirt with it. But I totally agree. It is made for a little bit more of a Western style of off-road trail because it is so there. I mean, a full-size truck is huge to take on any kind of trail that has.
Well, and then these are what? These are basically 3 inches per side wider than the regular full-size truck.
They're so wide. Yeah, and a regular truck is wide. The Raptor, I think, is right around the 90 inch range.
Mm-hmm.
Track width. That's super wide. if you were to put it just to wrap your head around how wide 90 inches is, if you were to get a flatbed trailer and put your Raptor on it, those tires are right inside of a flatbed, like a standard towing flatbed trailer. Like if you were to get your car or truck towed, you put a car on that, it looks like there's gobs of room on each side. And I know this because my race truck's this wide, but it is right there, as wide as like the big flatbed trailer. It's a wide truck.
Right. I do think that though that Ram has, the only bummer about the reveal of this thing was, I love the video that you seen. They did a video like that, and then they tried to do the old car show thing where they had this guy overly hyped up. It's like he was on about an 8-ball of cocaine. And the truck was spinning around him, and he was trying to do this car show presentation to a camera, and it just felt goofy. Now, when Ford did the Bronco, like Ford messed I wish we had a show when they revealed the new F-150 because they completely messed that up. It was a bad reveal, and they fixed it.
I think they that it was almost like a prototype type of thing for them. They tried to do it, and they probably went back to the boardroom and they're like, this worked, that didn't work, this worked, that didn't work. Because they brought out some big names for the F-150. The Goblin, what's his name? I'm totally spacing the one guy that was the celebrity. I know him as Green Goblin from Spider-Man.
Oh,
that's it. He made so many better movies, but that guy. But they had some big names. I mean, I think they did some stuff that was really great, and really showcased and explained what the whole idea behind the truck was, but at the same time there were some things that were kind of campy, and whatnot. And
Right,
I
but
definitely agree.
when they did the Bronco, man, they didn't do, because I was expecting with Bronco, after they did that video with Bryan Cranston talking about it, that like 5-minute video that like still gives me chills. I was expecting this campy truck drives out on a platform and then you get the BS of the execs talking, and they didn't do that. Ford just dumped their video for the Bronco and was like, okay, we kind of learned from the F-150, let's not go campy. And it's like Ram didn't exactly learn from the F-150 reveal, and they were like, hey, let's get our exec out there to talk about it and be like, oh, I'm just so excited, it's Ram. And it was like, it just wasn't needed. You just showed a killer video. And yeah. Some of it, I'm sure, is a little bit is ego, and then some of it is these guys just do not know how. In the COVID world right now, they do not know how to present these things. You know?
Yeah, it's definitely a fast-paced way to learn how to reveal a vehicle internet only. Social media internet only. Basically a video reveal of your vehicle. So. Ford had, firsthand knowledge of how to do it, and they were able to crunch and figure it out in a very short span of time. And Ram, that was their Ford reveal. That was their first reveal, really.
Right.
That made sense to them. And I think one of the biggest things is kind of overselling it or drawing it out too much, where you come out, you hit the points, you lock it down, and you give it away and say, this is what it is. And then it's, and let the interwebs and the media and the world take over from there. Whereas if you come out and you just on and on and on, you're like, I'm sold, dude. It's cool. It's cool. Let's check it out,
right.
As opposed to just kind of rehashing and hearing a little bit too much about it. I think that's a big deal when it comes to revealing. And I think that's just me watching those and what's my takeaway from them.
Right. Well, so Ro sent us you were talking about, but he and I haven't got to dig into the new Raptor too much just yet, but he was saying that it's going to get that motor and it's going to come actually with 35. So what's funny about this is how like Ram and Ford are entangled in this battle, and they've just left Chevy behind. Like they're like, okay,
big time.
You took on my Jeep with your Bronco. Okay, we're taking on your Raptor with our TRX, and then they're matching. It's like a heavyweight battle, man. It's just punch after punch, man. And
absolutely,
if GM thinks that their AT4 for the General Motors or Trail Boss for the Chevrolet is going to get the job done, they're sadly mistaken. Now
there's ZR1 package. It's just.
Well, I like the Trail Boss, pitiful. And Danny, you and that cable.
This freaking cable is gonna murder my soul, dude. I cannot get this cable to stay up. I'm gonna have to invest in some zip ties.
So I like the new Chevrolet design. I thought the previous 10 years of design over there has been horrible, but I like where they went with this new Silverado. But like I was saying, if they don't get into this fight, forget it. Like I know for Chevrolet, they think, oh, we got a Corvette. What does Ford have? Oh, they've got a Mustang. Well, we've got the Camaro. And even though I think Mustang sort of left Camaro behind a little bit, it's no Corvette by any means. But Halo trucks like this now are the thing. Like yeah, I was talking to our buddy Jeremy over at Icon the other day, and he said when Ford released the Raptor, aftermarket sales for just regular pickup trucks went through the roof because people can't afford to buy the Raptor at $70,000 to $100,000. But guess what? They can go buy these aftermarket parts at $1,200 to $1,500 per pop.
Yeah,
and that they make try to make their truck look like it.
Yeah, I totally agree. And this kind of goes back to when you see just a stock F-150 and you see a Raptor, you look and you're like, you know what? This truck has so much potential to be super awesome. And I'm talking like a base model F-150 and a friggin' awesome, Raptor. Maybe one that's been, even modified a little bit. But it allows you to visualize what this truck could be if I bought this F-150 and just over time put some money into it and suspension and whatnot. It gives you it gives that it's that enthusiast mindset of what could be.
Right.
And it kind of hits you in your soul like this is more than just a truck. This thing could be amazing. So and on top of that, like the F-150s, with the 5-liter, it's an amazing motor in that truck. It's Expedition Outfitters has a 5-liter in his F-150. And dude, what a great truck that is.
Right.
I had a rental F-150 that close to the same exact truck that he had, 4-wheel drive. I took it out to Moab. It was totally stock. And it did a ton of really fun, cool stuff. And it got great gas mileage going out there and on the way back. And I was like, wow, this is a great truck. And it to know that F-150 the Raptor is out there, it gives you that, like, yes, this could be something really amazing. It just puts that thought and that visualization in your mind.
Well, so Dan, break some of these numbers down a little further for us. I know you said you were researching it just a little bit. What are some of the things that really stand out that people may not have keyed on just yet?
You know what? And this may not be numbers per se, but the interior of the TRX is really amazing. It kind of comes from the Ram Rebel. If you look at it, it's got just a ton of really cool futuristic looking elements to it. They brought back the shifter as opposed to the dial shifter, which kind of takes away from like the fun feel of it.
I hate dial shifters, dude. I would rather have the new push button parks and all that than a stupid dial shifter.
Yeah, I totally agree. There's a little bit, the Raptor has a little bit more leg room. Let's see here. There's some trim upgrades. I'm trying to think of what the gear ratios between the two. The TRX comes with a 355 axle ratio. I think this comes back to power, because the Raptor, doesn't have quite the power that the T-Rex does. The TRX has 3.55 axle. The Raptor has a 410 rear end. Let's see here, some of the other stuff. The TRX crawl ratio, when you were talking about 4 low, is 44-1. The Raptors is 50.7-1, which isn't super serious when you're talking about.
Yeah, but these trucks are not made. They're not.
Yeah,
crawling.
they're not rock crawlers, because I mean the Bronco is going to be like it's almost like 100-1, and the Wrangler is like 85-1 roughly. So those are obviously meant more for like some serious trails. So those are, I mean, some of the numbers. Let's see here. I want to say we already talked about 0 to 60.
Yep, the 0 to 100 is 10.5, which is ridiculous, and it's got a top speed of 118 miles an hour, which I feel like that's slow. Like, and I don't mean that slow for this truck. I just feel like they were like, well, this thing's a big box. Let's not have it flying up in the air somehow after.
Yeah, I mean, the Ford still has that 10-speed transmission. The Ram has an 8-speed, so there's something to be said for that. It might be a little bit smoother in the Ford. The Ford's no slouch. It's not like we're talking about the Raptor.
What,
the
450 horse?
I mean, it's an amazing. They've been an amazing truck for a really long time.
Mm-hmm.
So
I just feel like ultimately, Ford thought, hey, you're gonna get what we give you, and nobody's competing, so who cares?
And to tell you the truth, Dave, a huge thing is going to be, how much is this TRX going to cost?
Oh no, it's there for one.
Are we going to be at $90,000 for a TRX?
Oh no,
I mean, that Hellcat motor is not a cheap motor for.
So Dan, they're sold out of this already. I think they were only going to build like 700. It was, and my numbers may be off, but I think it was like 700. It sold out basically that day. And I'm sure a lot of between dealers and collectors wanting to jump in on this thing, but no, it's with all options out. It's over $100,000.
Yeah, I could see that. And is this going to be kind of like that? I mean, it's exciting because it harkens is that a word? It harkens back to the the Chevy Typhoon and the Ford Lightning and Grand National. These just enthusiast wild cars that
Mm-hmm.
people or that manufacturers come out with that are just pretty wild. That really stick to the enthusiast market, the hardcore market. So it's exciting to see that they're going to be coming out. So is this going to turn into a thing? I think Ford showed that it is a thing and that there's a big market for it. But we'll see. We'll see how. Obviously, the T-Rex they're gonna sell a bunch,
Yeah.
or well, they're gonna sell what they can and see how it goes.
Right.
Obviously, if it
Right.
goes really well and they sell them all and everybody's like, bring more back, of course they're gonna sell more.
Well, so I was looking at this and I made some notes here. So the transfer case in this thing is it's a full-time active transfer case, which I'm not. I don't like full-time. I'm old school and I want to engage. I want a manual transfer case that I can do it now, but those days are well gone. But let's see. You're going to get auto, sport, tow mode, snow, and a custom mode that you can kind of tinker with. Plus, it's got like a mud, sand, and Baja selections for the terrain. So
Yeah, that's kind of like the new thing. It's like an active style transfer case where it has a lot of computing going in to make sure you don't get stuck, which
right.
might be a good thing for people that have never really done any serious off-roading. It could be a good thing, could be a
It's
too
like
much of
it's
a
like
babysitter
Wheeling for
thing.
Dummies book or something,
Yeah.
But I think Toyota's proven with the Tacoma when they started putting all these options like that's sand control or whatever what they call where it'll get itself unstuck. But Danny, did you see this thing is going to have 13 inches of wheel travel on all four corners? Now you're a racer. You're a desert racer. So for those that if you're brand new, Danny has a race program. You can follow along on his Dig Root X YouTube channel where you're building the truck. But
Yeah.
that's a lot for this truck, right?
Yeah, those are great travel numbers for hitting some serious whoops and whatnot. Travel's not necessarily everything. It'll depend on how the shock setup is and I mean what you're running for shocks. You could have 13 inches of travel and it's a terrible shock in there.
Well,
I'm sure they'll have something good in there, but
I forget. I think it's a Bilstein. It's a custom built Bilstein.
Yeah, I'm sure it's it'll probably be some electrically dampened Bilstein. Variable dampening, pressure controlled Bilsteins that they're running in or something
right.
wild like that.
Well, here's
for $100K, I better have that.
right, and it better have a few fun options. Of course, Ram in general, like Ram went from having, in my eyes, back in what was it, '94 when they brought out their brand new design of the 1500, man, which I loved. Like it was around the same time the Raptor or the what was their little sports car? I'm drawing a blank here. It looked like the old Shelby, Viper. It was around the same time. They brought this whole new design into and if you guys remember the old Rams before, the old Dodge Ram trucks before, it was horrible. They didn't redesign anything for 20 years, it seemed like. And they changed the face of trucks then, but for some reason they could never, all through the 90s and the early 2000s, well, really till now, their interiors were horrible. Like one of my favorite pickup trucks of all time is about I think it's an 1112 Ram. I love the outside of it. For some reason, it just really draws me in. But the inside of it was just dog crap, man.
Well, and that's how they stepped it up. That's how they stepped it up. Is they said scrap all this junk that we've been stuffing up. I think they probably put a focus group and they said, "What's wrong with Dodge or with Rams?" And everybody was like, "Well, the interior is pure trash." So I'm sure they hired somebody to say, listen, out with the old and with the new.
Mm-hmm.
And the new interiors are freaking awesome. They're great. Expedition Outfitters said, what's up with the Bilsteins though? If I'm paying $100K, I need something nicer. Bilsteins aren't necessary. Like there's so many levels of Bilsteins. It's such a huge company. Bilstein can make just some regular old 2.0 shocks, and they have some really, really nice high end stuff. So
Well,
Philistine can be up at on par with like a King and stuff like that. So
and
it totally depends.
Fox and these guys, well, Fox and these guys
Icon.
sort of get a pass because the Fox shocks that are on that Raptor right now are all Chinese built. They're not. Let's not act like that's their race
Fox
program
is not
building
built in
these
the
things.
US. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, it's still gonna be a pretty damn nice shock under this thing. And it's coils, Danny. Coils versus I don't remember on the Raptor. I believe it is coils in the rear of that thing as well. But towing on this thing, not that people really want to do it. Let me see. I've got my numbers.
I think the rear Raptors are still leaf spring.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see. 8,100 pounds towing, which I want to say Raptor is 7,500, something like that. So it does beat them in that. Payload capacity is 1310, which is, I mean, these are subpar numbers anymore for, when Ford's got an F-150 they claim could tow 4 houses and your grandmother on it, These numbers aren't really great anymore, but this truck, you don't buy this truck. Even though I see tons of Raptors being at construction sites, being towing trailers and stuff, and I'm like, why would you do this poor truck?
Yeah, and I think a lot of those towing numbers are just due to the off-road style of suspension. It's not necessarily due to the motor and the chassis. I think it's a little bit more due to the way that suspension set up to have more travel, to be a little bit more stable in the dirt and stuff like that. You do sacrifice, those big stiff rear springs. You don't want big stiff, gnarly, F-250 springs in the rear for the payload if you're trying to get some smooth off-road running. So I'm sure a lot of that, because the motor and, with the Raptor, the V6, I guess I'm not as familiar with that as I should be, as far as tow rating is concerned. How well is the torque distributed for towing? The Hellcat should be able to tow a lot of weight just because of its displacement and beast modeness. But again, like I said, it's the rear suspension setup that's probably limiting some of those tow numbers. But I mean, 8,000 pounds is most. If you're going to tow a race truck or race car on a trailer, if you're going to tow a moderate size travel trailer, they're all going to be in that 6,000 to 7,000 pound range, and I wouldn't blink. It's not like, so my Frontier can tow like 6,000 pounds. If you can tow 6,000 pounds, but that's like at the brink. Like, the power is where it runs out. Whereas if I was to tow 6,000 pounds with a Raptor, the Raptor might squat a little bit more because it's got a little bit softer rear leaf pack, but the power is not going to have a problem towing that. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's where it kind of just.
Right. Well, what are some of the things that stand out to you that you do not like about this thing? What are something that you're just like, ugh?
Oh.
Now you're a racer, so this is a difficult question for you.
It is.
Let me give you mine. Let me give you mine real quick.
Yeah.
That goofy ass Ram right in the middle, and they even brag about how they made the Ram bigger than the other version. When Ram started doing this on their tailgates and everything, it's like people shouting at you. It's like I clearly, if I can't tell from design what truck this is, and you feel like you have to shove Ram that large, like.
Let me interject and just say that hideous bed rack with the lights.
That trend's got to go away real quick, man.
Their display with the little lights over the. Oh my gosh, how terrible of a. I can't even begin to describe it. I hope you guys have seen it. It's that. It's like the headache rack or whatever you call it, the chase rack, and they have some weenie little lights sitting up over the cab in the back.
Yes.
It drives me absolutely nuts. Supposedly, this thing has a legitimate ram air up in the hood.
Mm-hmm. It's got two air filters on this thing.
Yeah, which gives it some pretty good, we'll say, water ingress range, so you can go pretty deep if you're going through water. What else? The mirrors weren't super amazing to me.
A little small for that truck.
Yeah, they're just kind of stick out as kind of lame. you know,
Right.
for a truck as red it was. I love the headlights.
I do
What else?
like that design of headlights. Took me a minute to come around to, but I really do like it. They've found their own version, like their own thing. Like
Yeah.
Ford kind of has their own thing that sort of Nissan copied. Ram has their own thing.
Yeah, for sure. I totally agree on that. I'm not a big fan of the whole dual exhaust stuffed into the rear bumper thing.
Are they still doing? I didn't catch that. Are they still doing this?
Doing that. I could just see those things getting. It's more of an off-road personal preference. I could see those things getting dragged up on rocks or something like that. Maybe just because of what I'm doing. That's kind of just a personal preference thing that I'm like, well, that's no good.
Well,
Ford does it too, so
yeah,
whatever.
Well, what
they said they have a rock rail. It'd be interesting to see if that's an actual rock rail, like steel rock rails. Like sliders as we call them. So I'd like to see how beefy those are, if they are what they are, or if they're just some chintzy little like metal things that will just collapse if you try to put the body on them or something.
I'm sure they're kind of collapsible turds.
I'm not a big so they came out with two colors. There's like the silver with the black color. I'm not a big fan. I like the red one. I mean, I'm a little partial. The silver and black one, it looks the black on it looks a little plasticky. That's my personal opinion on that. What else was I kind of short on? Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of the black one or the silver and black one. I just didn't think that was a great look for it. Other than that, I think the red one looks stunning.
As a racer, though, you should love that it's got 15-inch brakes.
That's ridiculous. Those are huge.
Yeah, they are.
On a side note, you're gonna have to run a big wheel and less tire.
Yep.
If you have 15-inch brakes, you're probably gonna have to run an 18-inch wheel almost.
Oh, if not almost a 20 anymore.
Yeah, I imagine it probably comes with at least an 18 to 20-inch wheel.
Oh, Joe Taylor.
I'm guessing it's an 18.
Joe Taylor just brought up a touchy subject. He mentioned TFL.
Did they just buy a TRX?
Yeah, they bought one, but
well, I mean, they didn't get one. Did they buy one, or did they just put in money to be able to test?
Oh no, they bought one. Here's the thing with some of the bigger YouTubers, and like it or not, guys, me and Danny started this channel to make money. Like I see a bunch of people going, "Hey, why no super chats and stuff?" Our Nissan channel is a passion project, really. Like if that thing ever made us any money, like it would be awesome. But this channel, our goal is to make money to be able to buy things like what TFL's done. Now they have a large fan base, and I got a nice email from TFL the other day. They didn't like that I used one of their pictures. I took one of their Frontier pictures and did a video on it, and I kind of got an email about that, and they were like, "Hey, we'd like a heads up the next time you use one of our pictures, just so we're not surprised about it." And I was like, "Well, that's weird. You took one of my Frontier Spy photos, and you didn't ask at all, and you bought it from somebody because I shared that picture to one jackass that sold it to him." TFL, yes, TFL is the devil. But I'm not going to bash on them because they're nice. They have Andre over there has been super nice to us.
They've been doing a lot of great stuff over the years.
But
I don't think we need a battle team.
No, I don't want to battle them. But my point of it is those guys, they are so big now that they are able to buy whatever kind of trucks that come out with that they want. And I think part of me and Danny's appeal on this is we don't have that kind of money. And so for us to get to cover something, it's because we super want to be there or we super want to be a part of it versus some pressers, people just go for the free booze or whatever they give you. And,
I like free booze.
Hey, Danny, speaking of which, I'm drinking a nice Frontier bourbon tonight. What's in your palate?
I'm drinking nothing right now.
But for our new viewers,
I'm dry.
our new viewers, Danny has a refrigerator right next to him that's probably empty
I
right
do.
now.
It's totally empty. You're dead right.
But probably the cool air there feels good on you.
Actually, that's a good idea. I'm stuck in the garage and it's hot. It's hot as can be.
Oh
Good idea.
man.
I'm gonna cool down right now.
Flytrap asked, so I'll say this on here too. So guys, I've seen some people asking about super chats and stuff, which they're used to our Nissan channel. Till we hit 1,000 subs and 4,000 hours of watch time, this channel is not. We're doing this for free, Dan.
That's right. But you know what? We're doing this. It's not. Well, let me make it clear. This isn't just about money.
No. Yeah, sorry.
We love all trucks and off-roading and fun, and this is another way for us to be able to branch out and bring you guys great content, bring you guys, our opinions and hopefully news, hopefully cool, fun stuff about all the stuff that's coming out, and hopefully we'll be able to really make a dent and try and come out with better and more up-to-date content on what's going on out there, and shine a little bit better light on all the new stuff that's coming out. And I have a fly that's flying around me here that's really throwing me off.
But no, I will say though, like me and you have plans. This is how we would like to make our living. Is covering,
of course,
racing,
it would be
and
so
adventures.
much fun to do that. Yeah,
and
I totally agree.
So that's kind of was my point to that. That I guess I made it sound like it's just about money, and it's really not. But it's about, there's a particular lifestyle that I live that I'd like to do this and continue that particular lifestyle. So, and much like our Nissan channel, we plan to buy vehicles to toy with on here. Like Danny has a nice collection of vehicles over there. Now they're all Nissan based at the moment, but Danny has a nice collection of vehicles. And Danny, since before we close up shop tonight, I gave him a little bit of my background. Now you get to open up your background and tell people about, because you're not just Nissan, dude. You've been a Ford guy.
I have been a Ford guy, and I loved Ford Rangers for the longest time. And I fell out of the Ford scene because, well, one, they stopped selling the Ford Ranger for so long. I had 4 or 5 of them or something like that, which caused me to be a little bit of a Ranger bro when I was a youngster, and that's that pre-runner scene or whatnot. But I've always kind of been a little bit of a Ford guy. And then of course I was a BMW mechanic, so that caused me to be all into the BMWs for a while. And, I still have a soft spot for them, so I'm looking at basically I love mechanical motors. I mean, I'm building a race truck because I love desert racing, but I love all the mechanical aspects of it.
Right.
And so I'm really just into what's new, what's coming. Is this going to translate? I mean, everything I look at is this going to translate into some kind of race thing? Is this going to translate into some kind of new product that we're going to see every day in the aftermarket? Or is it something that the dealers are going to pick up, that they're going to put in trucks, for the enthusiasts? We really like enthusiast vehicles, obviously, and that's why this is one of our first shows here, or our second show here is about TRX Raptor, because these kind of things are really like the bread and butter of what we love. This is the fun stuff. If somebody comes out with a new F-150 or a new Ram or a new Chevy, those usually aren't as fun to cover because they don't have those big numbers. They have usually numbers that are a little bit better than the competitor, or they as of recently everybody's popping out some new tailgate function.
God.
Tailgate,
we
the
should
tailgate's got a Hummer machine in it.
We should do a show just on tailgates. That would be exciting.
It's such a good show. What's the latest whistle and bell in the new trucks or whatever?
Have they got that 60-inch plasma in the screen yet?
Yeah, but even the new Bronco is really fun, because it's a groundbreaking. It's a throwback type of vehicle. It brings you back to what are our vehicles meant for, and they're meant for helping us adapt to the environment, helping us get into, in the United States, we're all about these adventures and pushing the boundaries of what our our machines can do. So that's what motivates me. That's what I love, and I'm super stoked that we're kind of doing this because I have a love for everything outside of Nissan.
Right.
And with the whole Nissan thing, because it's Nissan specific, we try and cater to those Nissan people, and so we don't step out as much. But at the same time, I can be two things at once. I can be a big Nissan fan, and I can absolutely love everything else that's out there.
Well, I'm so much of a Nissan fan, I'm buying a Ford Bronco, so.
Don't tell anybody. Is that the first time you told?
No, we talked about this
You
last
haven't
live
heard-
show.
Oh, god dang it.
But
Yeah,
Danny,
Yeah,
me and Danny had some heart-to-hearts about that one, and he was like, dude, just do it, like, because I'm a huge Nissan Xterra guy, just love them, man, and I'm a huge Frontier guy, and Nissan is a little scary right now, and we've been told by Nissan that we're too Nissan, and me and Danny, we've done this for over 5. Danny, we're almost, January will be 6 years of doing what we do. Now, we used to run if you're new to us, we used to run a podcast called the Nissan Nation Podcast, and it's still running. Like, it's still up. We don't do any more podcasting, really, but I'm not going to shut it down either. But we, when the brand you're covering and basically paying to advertise for them says, hey, you're too Nissan, and we're like, well, damn it, we've just spent 5 years of wasting our life a little bit. Oh, let's see. Let's ask some questions real quick too, because once again, Danny's. You were a Ford guy, honestly.
Yeah. Car Jeep said you're a Ranger killer, and that's actually true. I murdered literally two of my Rangers. I actually sunk 2 Rangers. That's a long story for another time, but both Rangers Hydrolock blew some motors.
Yep.
So yes, well, I'm a Ford guy. I have done some murdering.
Danny will murder your vehicle no matter what, because I gave him the keys to my Xterra one time. We were doing some rock crawling, and Danny thought it was Baja racing. So,
well, that's why I built a race truck, Davis, because I have and you know what? I'm gonna share a little, just a touch. I'm gonna share just a touch on the show.
Are we gonna get an exclusive?
We're gonna get an exclusive. Hold on. Let's see if you can hear this. This is what's coming. This is what's coming to my YouTube channel, but I'm not nice to my trucks.
That's awesome, man. I love that.
So if you like seeing burnouts and wild stuff, check out my YouTube channel.
Right.
But you know what? That's what we want to do with this channel too. Right, Dave? Like,
of course.
We don't want to just say, hey, this is Nissan stuff and whatnot. We really want to go out and burn rubber and whatever it takes to get out on the course, on the flats, and whether it's Expedition Outfitters. I'm gonna be going over to Expedition Outfitters' place, and we're gonna be doing a walk around on his truck because he's got a really nice F-150 that he's been doing some work with. And let me drop the volume on my phone there. But there's so many cool trucks out there that we want to be able to go and check out your truck and drive it and off-road and whatnot, or whatever you're doing, and share it.
It's because ultimately we are vehicle nuts. And the cool thing about All Terrain Nation is this is trucks and SUVs, but I'm never ruling out a kick-ass car on this channel. Like, we're truck guys, and that's really what our bread and butter. But if there's something cool that, say, General Motors wants us to go beat up a Corvette, I'm not going to say no to that, Danny.
Yeah. It's all terrain. And
Yes.
if that terrain is asphalt and there's smoky tires involved, this guy loves. I got a little bit more hooked in smoking tires today. I'm in like a secret horsepower binge right now after today. I'm super pumped about just burning tires off.
So you're going to take your 300Z and make it a drift car now?
There's all kinds of things that we can do, Dave.
Well, so guys, if you have any questions before we wrap this show up, we got up to 15 viewers now, Danny. Thank you to everybody who's on this.
That's freaking awesome. A huge shout out to all of our peeps that followed us over from the other show, and we really, really appreciate you guys taking your time out to come over here and chat with us.
And so Joe Taylor asked Dave, "What if the Frontier is really good?" they've taken too long, Joe. Honest to God, what a Bronco. Now, everybody will get a Bronco. I won't be the first to get on YouTube and get a Bronco by any means. But there's more value in content with Bronco than probably Frontier. What do you think, Dan?
Yeah, no, so there's levels, and if you hear the the drips in the background, that's my wife refilling my wine glass.
Nice. Tell the wife I said hi.
No, but yeah, I will. So the Bronco is a game changer. It's 14 steps past the Frontier, in my opinion.
Oh God, yeah.
It's such a rad vehicle. If it is, I mean, it's 1,000 steps past anything we've seen as far as like, hey, we swung for the fences. Here's what you got. As long as it's as good as everything that they say, if we get it and it falls apart, that's gonna suck. You know what I'm saying, Dave? Like,
yes.
If it's a total shit vehicle, that's gonna suck so bad.
I can't imagine that though.
I don't think it will, because Ford has a lot of money to put into this. But the Bronco is a huge turning point in the SUV, overland, Jeep, whatever all-terrain nation type of market. And it is so big that when you look at the Nissan Frontier, you're like, well, it's another mid-sized truck.
Yep.
But I think the Nissan Frontier will be a great mid-sized truck.
Well, yeah, it'll be a great.
I think
truck.
it will compete against the Tacoma really well.
Maybe
I think it will beat the Tacoma, the current Tacoma, if they don't pull their head out of their A and fix that motor. The motor is average at best. It's a very average motor.
Yeah,
the Tacoma motor is average. That's where they're gonna beat them big time. Is in the motor aspect. I think if they have good tech, I think the design cues, I think they'll be all right. Dave disagrees, and this is something that happens all the time. Me and Dave disagree about things all the time.
I don't disagree, Danny. I just everything I've seen of that truck right now, I've yet to get to drive the 3.8 liter V6. We have spent time with that 9-speed transmission, but everything I know about the underpinning of that vehicle right now is 15 years old, dude. Like it's already 15 years old. Almost 16. Yes. The underpinning's almost damn near identical.
You think it'll be how do you know that?
I can't say how I know that, but everything
but I mean leaf springs are over 15 years, Dave. I mean, leaf springs and coil springs and with the independent front suspension and front diff. I mean, there's a general design characteristics of a vehicle that have been used for ages.
Oh no, I'm not I'm like, yeah, leaf springs, independent front, like you're not game changing that by any means. But to kind of end up Joe Taylor's question about this, everything I've seen, like I owned a Titan. We've talked at ends about my Titan experience and how I like the inside of that truck. I thought the outside of the truck was pretty ugly, and this is coming from a solid Nissan guy. I think the 2020 is a great improvement. I think the headlights and how each trim is now starting to get its own grill and stuff, that was how it should have came out, honestly. But they're taking that design and cramming it into a mid-size truck now. The design doesn't work for a full-size truck. And I know now that we're all-terrain nation, we can say, well, maybe it's just because they can't take away sales from the big three. I totally get that. But at the end of the day, I've seen that truck in 2016, and I damn sure don't want to pay $50,000 for a mid-size truck that is 16 design. So ultimately, yeah, the front grille will be different and all that. And dude, Joe Taylor, I hope when it comes out that I'm completely wrong and that I just go, holy crap, I missed out on the boat. At this point in my life, at this point in me and Danny's journalistic, whatever you want to call this, the Bronco makes more sense for me in my life right now than a mid-sized truck that won't go off. It will go off-roading after I heavily modify it.
Let's make it clear, Dave. If Dave was to get a new Frontier, Dave, I'm sorry. I love you.
I love you, boo.
brother.
I love you, boo.
He would be too scared to really.
No.
Dave would not take his brand new Frontier off road like I did when I got my brand new Frontier.
Danny, I ripped the rear bumper off my last Frontier.
That was not a brand new Frontier, Dave.
It was to me.
Well,
clearly a 2012
again,
looks like the 2020.
That's the thing, Dave. That Frontier, when you got it, you knew it was an 06 Frontier.
No, well, yeah, but I didn't.
It was the same thing as an 06. Dave. I know this because if I got a brand new Frontier, it would be a lot of work for me to feel this. And I think you're like a step above me in the willingness to really beat the piss out of a brand new truck.
Oh, I think you're wrong. I think Bronco, when you see me go up, I'm going to off-road the Bronco.
But that's a Bronco. Like that.
You can't.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on this, but I think like when I got my 14, I literally had massive pinstripes on my Frontier.
I agree. I seen what you did to that truck.
It was still a lease when I was like ripping that thing apart. But I think you would be a little bit more hesitant on certain aspects of the truck.
There is a
versus the Bronco. I think the Bronco you would take to the next level quicker than if you had a Frontier.
But here's the thing, and I know they're completely different vehicles, but the Bronco I can go buy as I want with 35 Sasquatch package, geared properly, front and rear lockers, and I'm still going to be mid-40s. I guarantee you a Nissan Pro 4X truck, which I'm going to have to heavily modify on my own because it's not going to come factory.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the biggest.
It's
that's
still
the
40
biggest
grand, and then I got to dump another 5 grand into it. So what do you buy it factory with a warranty and everything?
38 grand. 38 grand.
Currently. Now, here's the fun part of this, Dan. If Nissan builds the Nismo that I revealed a picture of over on Nissan Nation Productions, I might kick myself on that. That could change your mind
for sure. No, I agree with you on that. That I could see you if you're ready to buy a Ford, which I don't fault you. I encouraged it. I'm not gonna lie, guys. Yeah. I encouraged it. I said that Bronco is so effing rad. It's not something that I need at all in my life. I need a tow vehicle for my race truck. So keeping my Frontier is a terrible idea. But I just keep modding it and making it more stupid. So I'm never going to be able to sell it. So maybe I'll give it to my daughter one day. But the Bronco is so, I mean, when it came out, they were just sitting there checking the boxes.
Yep.
For every person that was like, I hope it has this. I hope it has this. I hope it. The only box that they didn't check was a solid front axle,
which I don't think it needs.
I don't think so either because I'm not ridiculously sold on solid front axles.
Well, and guess what?
I've never been that guy.
How many companies are going to make kits for this super quick to convert
Oh
it?
my gosh, it's going to be ridiculous. The second a production model comes out, or the second like 20 production models comes out, Icon, Fox, King. You know what, BDS, all these guys, Rough Country even, they're going to have 6-inch kits. They're going to have 4-inch kits. They're going to have shock replacements. Every single thing you could possibly think of that Jeep has, they're going to be putting out. So
right.
On that aspect, it's going to be like that, which is nice for the aftermarket.
Of course. And Ford's going to get aftermarket that trust me, I've followed a lot of these companies now that already their mouths are watering to get this thing, to build things for it, because the Bronco is taking on the Wrangler, guys, and Wrangler has had zero competition for 25 years.
They're gonna murder the Wrangler because the Wrangler has been just living off their own cheese.
Oh, Danny, you got a Robbie Morello. Danny, you know I'm getting a TRX.
Dang, Robbie, that's because his dad was trying to do. That's because his dad was trying to do burnouts at his Rebel today, and he couldn't do burnouts. Robbie, shout out to you, brother. I love you, brother. I know your dad needs to get tell your dad he needs to get a TRX so he can stop messing around with that Buster rebel that wouldn't do burnouts, and I can do fat burnouts.
Let's see. Joe Taylor asked, though, he said, question, Dave, get rid of all your current vehicles and get both the Bronco and Frontier, get them in basic trim levels and modify them each for the channel. Well,
yes. Dave, get rid of the Juke, get a Bronco
wait.
and a Frontier.
Wait. All right, this has been All-Terrain Nation. We're out now. The Juke's not going anywhere.
This is why you have me on the show, Dave.
It is.
So you can't hide all your secrets.
Okay, so for those that don't know, I have a 2000 Nissan Xterra that I have solid axle converted. It's on 35s, and I don't know what you would consider the lift on that thing anymore. It's kind of my rock crawler that I just need to go through it and get it back to where it needs to be. I've had a little bit of fun in it, but ultimately I kind of lost interest in that project. My wife has a 2009 Nissan Xterra that's lifted 3 inches, kind of an overland build, a lot of fun. She loves that thing. I have a 2011 Nissan Juke that I bought for the Nissan channel to kind of a cheap. How cheaply can I modify this to make it fun? And then I have a 2017 Nissan Frontier in my driveway that is just a company vehicle. And yeah, Joe, I could get rid of all these things, but the problem, Joe, is this channel's not making me any money yet. This channel's costing me money, which I don't care about. I'm not complaining by any means. The Nissan Nation Productions channel is never going to make me enough money to make a car payment. Trust me.
Here's the deal, Dave. All-Terrain Nation is going to take off hard because me and you are the best damn things that hit the internet within the since COVID. And we're awesome. So if you guys like this stuff, we're going to be bringing you sick content. And on top of that, you're going to find out from our Nissan side and the Grudex side that we can bring rad content. And so if we take off, you're going to see a new Nissan in one of our driveways. You're going to see a new Bronco in our driveway, and we're going to beat the piss out of it. And we're going to go racing, and who knows what's going to happen. But this is the start of something beautiful, Dave.
It is.
Me and you are the dream team, and they say when you start like 1,000 businesses in a row, sooner or later one of them is going to take off. And I have full confidence in the fact that All-Terrain Nation is where we're going to make our money so that we can do rad Nissan stuff. But on top of that, Dave, we do so much rad stuff just in the Nissan community. And even then, I went on in February, March, I went on a badass trip across the Utah, Nevada, New Mexico desert with a bunch of Toyota guys and a Ford guy and a Super Duty, or not a Super Duty, a LBZ Chevy diesel, off-roading, doing all kinds of wicked stuff. We're not just Nissan guys. We do some really rad stuff, and so you're gonna see some of that stuff.
You are, because this channel isn't. I mean, obviously it's trucks, cars, whatever, but part of it, like in my tag, is adventures, and me and Danny do go on stupid adventures. That's how me and Danny met each other. Was Danny flew literally out.
Stupid adventures.
Yeah,
that's the truth.
And everything about me and Danny, our connection is stupid adventures. Nissan sent us on 2 stupid adventures that we had the time of our lives. They liked us so much the first time, they wanted us back for the second one. And what did we do? We had everybody singing and having a blast.
That's the truth. We bring the party, and that's what we're gonna be bringing to you with All-Terrain.
What did the Nissan execs tell me and you when we got everybody singing? What did they say about the other journalists that showed up?
Oh yeah, they said they were. I don't remember exact words, but they were like, "Man, that other crew was so boring. Nobody liked them. They're like, we wish you would have been here for 2 weeks instead of 1."
Yeah, because we were having fun, man. We don't take this stuff too seriously. If you look at me and Danny is more the racer. I'm more the journalist side of this. But you put us together, and we're just stupid fun. So guys, get in your last questions. Let's see. Joe Taylor says, Danny and Dave are the new Roman and Nathan off of TFL. Thank you guys, but they're their own thing, and to kind of come off, I totally respect those guys. What they've built is amazing.
Yeah, they've put out amazing content. We talk some smack. Dave's chatted with them. They're really good guys. They're really nice guys. they got a bunch of heat from Ford because they were, they didn't compromise and they put out some
Well, I think
shiza.
they sort of compromised and did it anyways.
Yeah, they did what they wanted to do, and they got some heat from Ford because they released stuff before Ford wanted them to. So, for what it is, they put themselves out there. No hate to them, whether we talk a little
Right.
smack or whatever. We like the guys; they're really nice guys, and they're good dudes. But in truth, we are the next thing to come. That the TFL will go in the background, and we will be the next thing. And guys will love us because we are better, and I am the better of the things to come.
There you go, guys.
To the vodka.
There you go. We'll drink vodka and we'll go wheeling.
You know what? I would love to collaborate with TFL.
No, definitely.
They're, like I said, they're great guys.
Andre is like 7 foot tall, and I'm like a little person next to him. It's kind of
maybe
hilarious.
I can high five Andre, but we would love to collaborate with them. They've done so many cool videos,
Yes.
and I mean all of their tow vehicles up the what is that?
Die Gauntlet they do.
Yeah, that stuff was just content that was built for everybody to watch, and it is beautiful golden content. They killed the internet with it, so I cannot hate on them whatsoever. We could nitpick them all day and talk some smack, but we like those guys, and hopefully one day we'll be able to collaborate them and be on their level, and maybe we'll overtake them one day and be the icons, and they'll be nipping at our heels.
And we're going to be we'll do reviews and stuff, but this channel is just about being different than kind of what our buddy with Pickup Truck and SUV Talk, Tim over there. Tim does amazing breakdowns and reviews on these vehicles, which I like watching and I like doing, but it's just not us. And there's a ton of people and there'll be somebody that probably thinks we copy them that we don't even know about, but there's something for everybody here on YouTube, and I'm so happy. And guys, thank you for smashing the like buttons. Let's see, we got 11 likes over there.
That's awesome. Thanks, guys.
Be sure to smash the sub button if this your first time watching us, because once again, I need 1,000 subs and 4,000 hours of watch time. Now, I think the last I checked, we had 14 hours of watch time, Danny. So
it's pretty amazing.
We've taken
I just hit 4,000 on my channel. It took a long time, but I think, Dave, bringing you content, we're really gonna try to bring you rad content, and
yep,
let's do this, Dave. We're here for you guys.
Frank B, why do I think the F-150 reveal wasn't good? I'll do a piece on that, and I'll work on that for you of why. I don't want to just like ramble. These shows are kind of rambly at times, so I don't want to just ramble and just bash it. I'll give you some specifics of why. And Danny, will we see you next week?
You know what, Dave? I wish and want to be on every single show. Sundays are on and off for me. It totally depends on whether or not I got a big family functions on Sunday. But I would really love to be able to be on. Are you an
Italian family over there? Because it's like the Godfather if you don't report it on Sunday.
I got too many brothers and sisters. But I will be working really hard to bring some more content into this channel, just from bringing in other rides, and I have so many connections. Dave has so many connections, and we're really trying to bring because the West Coast and the East Coast, and I know Dave's not East Coast, but he's close enough as far as I'm concerned. He's like 1,000 miles away from me.
Hey,
so,
what's the matter with you?
There is such a difference between our segments of trucks and how people build trucks and what they build them for. There is so much more content that we can bring from both sides of the spectrum that we really want to do that. So I'm going to be working really hard to try and bring that for you guys from our side, from my side of the world. And the same thing for Dave. He's got some great guys that he has been working with to try and bring you guys some content. So,
and part of the bummer of what we do here is also part of the plus of it. Like Danny was saying, the West Coast is so different from the East Coast. And we're able to cover all of America this way, where a lot of other journalists can only cover their small section, and they only know their small section. We've got it covered, man. So, guys, once again, smash the sub button. I know it sounds trivial, and every YouTuber says this, but it means If you guys get me 1,000 subs by sharing our content wherever your social media platform is, on Reddit especially, we get a lot of love on Reddit for the Nissan side.
Yeah.
If you will help us do that part, we're going to get the 4,000 hours because this just got started. Part of the live shows is so there's 14 viewers right now. We'll almost have 20 view hours by the time this thing's done. So I'll get the view hours if you guys help me get the subs, and it is what it is, man. So Danny, show one for you, buddy.
I'm super pumped about this. You guys, I'm pumped about the fact that we've got 10 to 15 people watching this. You know, our buddies come over from the other show to watch this show and support us, and I think it's gonna just start really growing, and I'm pumped about it. I'm really pumped about it. I'm stoked about how the next year or two is gonna go. COVID ain't got nothing on our ass right now, so
you know what I'm super pumped about?
And
that I spelt my Instagram wrong. I just noticed it. Oh, guys. So from all things Nissan and Toyota and Ford and Jeep to wherever you like this content and love us, we sure appreciate it. This has been All Terrain Nation. And what are we, Danny?
We are Jurassic Park out.
Peace, everybody. Hey, next Sunday, I'll be here if Danny's not. Nissan Nation is on.